Okay, so we got a couple of things here, because I know people are in a hurry and we're running late. So we can defer 9.3 and 10.2 until the next meeting if people are comfortable with that. Okay, so we'll do that. Now, the first item of business is we need somebody to move this motion. The municipal council authorized the CAO to finalize the required agreements with circular materials based on the opt-in service model under the extended producer responsibility regulations, and Warden and CAO to execute the agreement with circular material once finalized. So we're prepared to move that.
So moved.
Seconder. Seconded by Abdallah. Discussion. All those in favor? Oh, sorry. Sorry, Tina.
Okay.
So, in terms of the motion, it's my understanding that there's a provincial requirements in there around a percentage.
Yeah.
Provincial requirement in set
For the contamination.
for contamination. Okay, that's it.
Okay, further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. So now I am on to oh, I just deferred 9.3, didn't we?
Yep.
Okay, don't
My end.
need that anymore. So I'm on to 10.1,
All right, I'll try and
told her to keep it quick.
I'll try and make this as quick as I can. Council, so we're moving back into, we kind of got away from doing departmental updates and the CAO report. We're moving back into that. So this is the CAO report. So I've outlined what we're intending to do for reporting to council. I'll just go through it real quick, and then I know it was a long report, there was a lot in there. So every 4 to 6 weeks, we're hoping to get a CAO update on the agenda. Those will go over like high-level staffing changes, operational highlights, general updates, progress on council directives from the meetings and strategy sessions, and then updates on active grant files as needed. We're going to do strategic plan updates as well. Those will be done quarterly. And then departmental updates will be done at the 2 council meetings following the CAO report. So we've split them, 3 departments, 1 agenda, 2 departments, the next agenda. And then financial updates as well. I already see a question here.
Okay. Andre?
Sorry, I'm just jumping ahead. Of course. Is the thing on? Yeah. I didn't see it on the list, and maybe it is somewhere, but community wells, where is it?
It's in
Is
there.
it?
Yeah,
What's-
I'm gonna go through a couple highlights
All
real
right,
quick.
good.
All right, so I've provided some staffing updates in there. I won't go through all of them. I've also outlined the target recruitment dates and start dates for the different positions, and I'll try to keep that updated. We may already have some changes to this since I reported to you. In particular, we'll probably look at filling our DO position sooner than the end of September and move that one up. I've also outlined what's upcoming for July policy session topics, the policy and strategy session, and the September policy and strategy session topics, so that you have those. And then just going through the attachments very quickly, you'll see that I've provided you with a revised 24-28 strategic priorities work plan. So council approved this work plan. I noticed as we were going through some of the updates, there was a couple of projects that from the first time you saw the work plan until you finalized the work plan, there were a couple of items that were missed. So I've got those highlighted for you. You don't have this isn't the status update, this was your strategic plan. So just so we have a revised strategic plan, work plan for 24-28. We had missed municipal water, the Mill Cove fire protection options and next steps we're adding back in there. And then highlight, I'm going through them real quick to highlight the other ones. The warden versus mayoral system was missed on the original list that you approved, and the municipal facility study was missed as well. So we've added those back in, just so you have those. I would probably ask you at the end of this just to approve those, the amended work plan, so that that's clear. And then the second set of appendices is the actual updates on some of the projects. So you have all of those updates. Community Wells is in there. I will highlight that one.
I saw it there.
You saw it in there? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Community Wells is in there. Oh, sorry, there was a couple of other ones that were missing from the work plan. The new recreation facility and the old Annapolis Road were also missed in there as well. So those have all been added back in to the work plan. We'll keep you updated on the progress of those. So the second appendix is the work plan update. That's the one that provides the status updates on all of the projects and where we are. Community Wells is under the Sustainable Infrastructure Work Plan, so we're working out agreements with East Chester Community Center and Grace Church in St. Margaret's in Chester Basin. We've reached out again to the Village of Chester and Western Shore Fire Departments. Hubbard's Fire Commission is another possibility that we're going to look at. And then we'll probably be bringing forward a suggestion, because the new Public Works facility, we think would also be an option that we could, could do as well. So we'll be coming forward with that. I won't go through too many of the other highlights unless you have specific questions about some of the specific projects.
Tom has a specific question.
No, I'm gonna wait, because Andre was first.
Oh, he was, okay.
First, it was still on.
Okay.
Right, that's what I thought.
Through you, Warden Weber, CEO, is it possible to separate this and get it as a document that I could send out to my constituents?
Sure.
Because they're always asking, what are you doing?
Sure.
What are you guys doing? What are you guys
Yeah.
doing? This is a perfect, and I love this, we can break it down and provide them, and then if they have questions, they can ask us or ask me.
Sure.
And I can show that we are active, and there's so much we're doing, it's
Yeah.
hard to comprehend, and I thank you and your staff for what you're doing and trying to make this more streamlined and real, so
Yeah.
I do think that's very important.
And when we come back with the department updates, that'll be additional information. So I've asked in the department updates that we don't just repeat what you've already heard on the capital
give
plan and the
more
strategic
detail,
priorities,
yeah.
but give more more on the day-to-day, what are we doing on the operational side, that kind of stuff. So you'll be getting more information as we go through this, so.
Okay, Tina?
Thank you. So I was trying to go in order. So I have no order. So on the attachment that's entitled the Strategic Plan Update,
Yep.
and under Celebration of Community, the municipality has assumed the lease for the playground at Lordley Park.
Yeah, that was done a while ago, yeah.
Right, so, so.
We just finalized it,
Right.
sorry.
So, cool, that's cool, the lease piece.
Yeah.
So I'm going back to when we had a workshop, and I didn't bring my notes, but I believe there's some question around the condition of some playground equipment. Am I making that up? Or was there
Yeah.
a condition like,
Yep, we need to do a condition assessment. We know that there's some upgrades we will need to
Okay.
do. That's something we'll have to bring forward for options for
okay,
council.
so, again, okay, so great, options for council, because I believe at that workshop, again, when that was discussed, I had questioned, or just kind of, just because it was in a fuzzy area for me, you know, again, the green light or red light, right? So the green light in terms of investment in that playground, if required, based on, again, you know, how much money we have to work with,
Yep.
where are existing playgrounds now, you know, within the village, within the municipality,
Yep.
and so on. Because that's been brought to my attention in terms of other districts, I'm not talking New Ross, that might not have younger age playground equipment being sponsored by the municipality.
Yep.
I guess just spit it out there.
So we'll get the update.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have to
Options.
get an update to you
Okay.
on
We'll
that,
have
because
to-
there are some identified upgrades. Some of them are safety. They're like, I don't think we've identified any immediate life safety issues, but there are some safety issues, and then there's some accessibility issues, so we'll have to have a discussion around.
Exactly. So two would be the discussion around, and by the way, I appreciate all this. It's very detailed. I love it. The new rec facility, and again, it's on here somewhere.
Yeah, it's on there a
And it's
couple
around the priority now, next, future, and so on. And the next comments here are council decision point, proceed or not. and this isn't, I don't think in 1, 2, 3, and 4, but I'm gonna read it as 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 is funding program, 3, community engagement, and then detailed design and engineering. Community engagement is very important to me. And I'm not sure what the council decision point proceed or not is, because I need to hear from my communities as to what level of investment they are willing to look at me as their elected
Yeah.
official. So that is very important.
I
to me.
can speak to that one a little
Thank you.
bit. So the committee has been struck. They've met twice. And so what they are working on right now is constructing a scope of work that would be brought back to council for consideration to engage a consultant. And part of that RFP, that scope of work, would include some community engagement. So prior to coming to a decision point for council, we would be bringing back some recommendations. And that would have included some community consultation and then also some communications as well.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. That's all I ask. Third, and I only have 4. Third is around the open space, and this is on the work plan update attachment. So open space, and it's listed here as open space land purchases and enhancement with particular attention to water access.
Yep.
All I have to say about that is I'm very glad to hear about this throughout the municipality.
Yep.
So I'm very, very glad to hear about this again, just because. Okay. Now, the last thing is around, I don't know if we'll find it now. It's around the active grant files
Yep.
attachment. And it's really simple. It's the purchase of 2 basketball net height adjusters for cams. And the province threw in 3,019, which is great. Total cost was 4542.50. Who funded the difference? It's not in the columns.
That's a good question.
So there was a grant, and then there was some funds that came from our community school equipment funds, and then there was funds, I think they're in kind, so the Center of Education provided the installation of the equipment and the lift that would require all those kind of things. So.
Perfect. And I know that you sent us an email, Chad. Speak back to the audience if that's okay. So you provided us with an email, and I should have referenced that before I came in here today, because I did ask it during budget deliberation how much monies were in the accounts of each of the respective community school accounts. Okay, so again, just gathering information for my own communication and my own communities around community school
Yeah.
and investments in equipment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the report? Okay, moving along. And we're on to 10.3, I think. Letter to the Premier. Well, it is what it is. I signed it.
Yeah.
He got it.
This is just putting it on the agenda for council's awareness and the public awareness.
I haven't heard anything from him yet.
No.
Okay, 12.1, new road names. I hope you're your normal self and got this all sorted right out for us. You usually do.
We have a new private road name in Sims Settlement. The proposed name is Finder Lane. It's a unique road name in Nova Scotia, and we've had no objections from the fire department or public works.
Well, it should be moved and seconded. Discussion, all those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. You're right
New
there,
record,
you're
thank
your
you.
normal self this morning. Okay, I find it hard to believe, but we're on 12.2, designated community fund grant review, community development recreation.
So I think by now, council is used to seeing some of these requests come through. So we have an account that was set up related to
It's their money.
yeah, the new fire department in fire station in Chester. And so there was some donations that came through, and they have now requested those funds be released in form of a grant to that organization.
Moved, seconder? Seconded?
You have a question?
Oh, sorry, Tina.
It's not a question on the motion, so I can wait if you want.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Yes, your
So now my
question?
question, I meant to go back and look at the policy that we have around this, and it's great, I love it. Community groups use it all the time. Most of my experience has been around the fact that they're not able to issue charitable receipts, so that they're able to, you know, the Chester Tennis Club, the New Ross Legion, the Chester Garden Club, New Ross Trails, New Ross Farmers Association, that's been my recent experience. I'm just saying honestly, I was just a bit perplexed that they are using, so there's other reasons, obviously, and it's none of my business, I guess, but they must be a charitable organization, right? The fire department? Like,
No, not all the fire departments are charitable
Oh,
organizations.
really?
No, they're
No,
nonprofits,
not-
but they're not necessarily
registered
registered with CRA as a
Really?
registered
Of all
charity.
the fire departments? Again, I'm just
Yeah.
perplexed, that's all, yeah, just very curious.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, now, to the best of my knowledge, I'm on to,
12.3.
12.3, Uranium Exploration, Councillor Connors.
Thank you, just again for. Thank you again, just for information to have on the agenda. It was 2 weeks ago, I believe, at a council meeting that I had mentioned, and actually the result of that was the letter, which was unanimously approved by council to go to the province, so thank you for that. But at that time, 2 weeks ago, I made the notation of the public meeting that was going to be held in New Ross the following Wednesday, again, a very quick turnaround. So I want to just share the fact that there were, at last count, 85 people that were there. I thought there'd be more, but there were 85. And I want to thank those that were able to make it, councillors Church, Coolin, and Vino in alphabetical order. And Councillor Bremner, you had indicated right after I announced the date that you weren't able to make it because you had a commitment, so that I took very serious. So I wanted to indicate that. And also to, don't know if any of those councillors wanted to provide any comment, and I'll just open it up in case they wanted to, and if not, I'll just continue.
Comments, anybody?
Nope, okay. I'd heard comments from others that it was one-sided. So I guess I would like to reference the exercise that took place in the early 80s when, again, I could be wrong, and I hope members of the public might correct me if I'm wrong. But it's my understanding, and other councillors who were there to hear the speaker at the time. In the early 80s, there were 42, 44, 46, something like that, public/community engagement sessions led by the province. I don't know if it was DNR at the time. Again, I'm looking to see if I'm wrong with any of the councillors by saying this, but I just wanted to make it clear that we have not heard anything to that effect in terms of this exercise, which is now 2025. So in the early 80s, the approach was, the only thing I can say is a heck of a lot different than what I'm seeing now. So I'm not, at this point in time, ready to bring any further requests to council, modeling the example of Modal, who has put forward a motion further than what we've done, which is fine for now. But I just want that on the table because, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Andre?
I will speak then, because
Fine.
I was at the meeting, and yeah, I would agree with the position that it was one-sided. When you attend a meeting that's billed as an information meeting and there are placards, you know, stop uranium, whatever, exploration, all this sort of thing, that doesn't seem like a balanced meeting. It was actually a rally. I would say that I was there to, I'm sorry, you know, I did not attend any information meetings more than 40 years ago, okay? And I agree with this council's position that we are sending a letter to ask for a pause so we can get a little bit more information, because some of us don't remember a meeting that was held 40 plus years ago. You know, I was in school. I wouldn't have attended, probably. It wasn't my interest at the time. But I was there to genuinely learn more about uranium mining because I don't know a lot about it. And what I was instead confronted with were people that were, I would say, non-experts. That were people that were maybe in affected areas that wanted to based on their Google research, provide their commentary. And there was one person at the end that actually had a degree in geology, but hadn't appeared to have practiced in some time, and he didn't work in the uranium field either. So no experts, just a lot of people that were outraged at the idea of uranium mining, and that's fine. And I have no grievance with that, but I was there genuinely to obtain information, and I did not feel that I got like a industry perspective and with opposing views or anything. I felt it was very unilateral, opposed to it, and not a lot of details on even how. I actually went back and through YouTube and things just looked at, because I think in Saskatchewan we have the world's largest uranium mining and processing operations, and I looked at how they extract uranium there, and it was a very, very high-tech video with explaining the whole process, and it was very interesting. None of that information was present during this meeting. It was simply just a lot of, I felt, rhetoric and non-specifics. So I was disappointed in the meeting because I expected something balanced and educational. And I appreciate the idea of hearing residents' concerns as a counselor, and I'm there for that purpose. But I was also there to learn about uranium mining, and that I learned nothing.
Tina?
Actually, if you will, I'll let Councillor Coolin speak, and then I will speak.
Okay.
Certainly, I attended as well, and I agree that it was one-sided, but I believe that for the most part, the information that I got from that meeting were, people are frightened, people are scared, and people have the unknown, within their backyard. So they had every right to speak, they had every right to voice their concern at this preliminary level, if it's gonna be, in their backyard and how it's gonna affect them. And I agree that there was no professional, stance on the uranium side, but were they invited to come to the meeting, Tina?
I didn't
No.
organize the meeting.
So, in fairness, if they didn't realize it was there, then they didn't attend. So I feel I got something out of it. I was a little dismissed that I felt that I had expressed to Tina that I felt it was generally one-sided, but I didn't think that the meeting was unattainable. I believe that I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad I attended, and I just got the general senses that people are just very unsure and unknowledged as well, but more importantly, they're just frightened. Thank you.
So I have Andre next, do I, or, yeah?
Tina was.
Oh, Tina was, but she's turned it off, and then I didn't.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah, that's cool. So this now then opens the discussion for me to bring something to the table that I really was teetering on. But I'm going to use some of the words around Councillor Vino and Councillor Coolin, which I think are fantastic. They want to learn more, people in the audience unsure, unknowing, just genuinely learn more. So remind me when we had the challenge and the concern around aquaculture development in the Bayswater area. We invited, or no, I should really have checked my stuff, but did we invite people from all facts of life to come into council, or how was that organized? Because I would like to put it in front of council then to, let's say uranium mining is off the table. Let's pretend that it's off the table. Oh no, sorry, let's say it's off the table. I'd like to learn, and our provincial government is no different than our municipal government. They should respond respectfully if there's a request. So I would like to have this council invite professionals who are very sincerely and genuinely interested in uranium exploration, and the province seems to be still. So I don't know who they would be, but if they're putting it out there, they must have, again, the experts from Saskatchewan or from our own backyard. So I would like to see the same approach that we took, I believe that we took with aquaculture to this exercise. Would that be something that Warden and CAO, we could consider, similar to aquaculture?
We could ask the province if they have anybody who can speak to the issue, but I mean.
To come in to speak to council?
Yeah, we can ask.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Andre?
Well, I'll follow up. I don't believe actually we invited anybody really to speak to aquaculture here. And there were meetings held in District 1 regarding aquaculture, but I don't think they were ever billed as just an information meeting. These were rallies, and they were very one-sided as this one was. And I had attended some of those, but not with the express interest of just gleaning information. And in that environment, even if you were somebody who was an industry person in aquaculture and you wanted to portray some of the positives sides of because there are positive sides for every argument, I suppose, they would have been shouted down. And we didn't have an opportunity to see somebody that had a perspective from industry on uranium mining, but I felt if they had been there, they probably would have not, they would have been booed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the problem that we are confronted with, is I don't believe in our aquaculture activities that have been going on for decades in Bayswater, that this council undertook some sort of mission to provide information to the community or ourselves. It's been long, it's been in place for many, many years. So I would say, you know, if people are concerned, and I see the value in what Councillor Coolin said, like that we had an opportunity at that meeting to hear people's concerns. And I have no grievance with that. And I think that's valuable as a councillor. That's part of what we want to do. We want to hear the concerns of our community. And I'm a municipal councillor, so I'm a municipal councillor for New Ross and every other area as well. And I want to hear those concerns. But the thing is, I went to the meeting hoping to get information on uranium mining, and I actually didn't come away with that. All I heard was the concerns, and that's fine. It just, that's the only concern, that's all I'm raising here, is that there is a lack of information. And that is why I support the motion we've made to ask for a pause so that people can become better informed, because some of us weren't around 40 years ago, last time the province told us all about uranium mining.
I think it's Abdallah next, and then we'll just keep going.
Yeah, I think whoever put the meeting together shouldn't have called an information meeting, but we're past that. But what I'd like to see, it's not that I don't agree with you, Tina, but I think that's something that the provincial government should do, because what they'll have is and that'll give the public a chance to voice their opinion based on, you know, if and the province should have someone from the industry there.
Where? Here?
No, that's what our provincial government, that's what our MLA is for. Let our MLA set the meeting, community meetings, you could have them in New Ross, you could have them in Chester, invite the province, like I say, but the province should facilitate it, not us. That's my feeling.
Well,
Wait,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
Tina.
Tina was next, I think.
Thank you. So again, I probably should just wait for 2 weeks, but I will, and bring it to council in 2 weeks. But I'm looking at our letter, and we've asked for a pause so that we can, so in the province to allow for sufficient time for meaningful public consultation. This council is public. I'm a member of this council sitting here, so I believe that it's important. And unless somebody can tell me that there would be something wrong with I'm not saying that the community shouldn't ask. We can have 44 to 48 consultations in the province. This can be one of them. So I guess I am officially asking that this council, and I'll see how fellow councillors feel to that we put the request out to somebody in the profession, somebody with the province, whoever they want to. They're the ones that initiated this. So they must have professionals and experts, you would think. So again, I'm sitting here and I'm asking that, and if it gets voted down, then it doesn't happen. But I have done my job, asking that we ask that somebody come in here and speak to us.
Okay, Andre, we gotta move on here.
I would just say that having our staff figure out who in industry should come in and speak to the public about an issue that is not governed by us doesn't seem appropriate. What I think would be better if this council had the will would be to make a follow-up letter directly to our MLA, explaining that we attended a meeting in New Ross in which concerns were raised by residents, and there was a lot of uncertainty around
was
uranium.
nobody who could answer
And
the
that
questions, yeah.
we would respectfully ask that maybe she might want to pull some industry experts together to help inform residents about what is actually involved in uranium mining. And of course, in any way, our municipality would be glad to assist in,
Organize.
facilitating. But, we don't have access to whoever it is that they're speaking to on the industry side. That's because they manage that regulation. So that would be my suggestion if this council.
Okay, what do we want to do? We got to move on. We want the province to write a letter to them and ask them to do it?
I would ask our MLA personally.
Yeah, well,
It's
whatever.
local to our area.
Okay. Okay, Tina, you're on now.
Thank you. So I've heard around the table, so for the public, I don't agree with that. I agree with what I've requested 5 or 10 minutes ago, and that's where I sit.
Okay. Well, the rest seem to want to write the province and ask them to organize that sort of an event? Okay, that's what we'll do.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, where am I?
Hey, John. There you go. This is a walk-on item, and I apologize for that, but I'll explain why.
Yeah, oh, I know, yeah. Shit. Well, it is what it is, yeah. No harm in applying.
So this, basically, this is a grant opportunity. It's the Canada Housing Infrastructure Fund, the provincial and territorial stream. So this is the bilateral program of the CHIF, as we'll call it, grant program. So there was a direct stream. What we're doing, where we're at in terms of our size as a municipality and the scope of the project that we were tagged, it's better fit for the bilateral program. So what we're looking to do is to apply, well, I have submitted the application.
Oh, without our permission.
Without your permission. Well, the reason why that
Oh,
we've gone ahead.
If you can get money to help us pay for it, I'm happy with it.
So this program is not yet open to sort of the broader sort of public submissions from other municipalities. We were tapped for an sort of early submission, so we've been working with the province on that. And part of the reason is the scope of the Chester Basin project and the housing units it will incent has caught the attention of both the province and the federal government. So it's looking all very positive. Of course, there's never any guarantees. But I just wanted to highlight, so basically what I need from council is the draft resolution that's included in the recommended motion. You've done this before with various grants. And so if council approves that, adopts that, then I would require our municipal clerk to produce a certified a copy of that today.
Why, is there any reason we wouldn't do it?
Just to sort of clarify where this sits in terms of the financing. So the overall ask is 17.5 million, sorry, the overall estimate rather is 17.5 million. That's a pre-tax Class D estimate. So the actual cost is 13,461,540 plus 30% contingency. And the grant program itself requires for Class D estimates contingencies within the 20 to 30% range. And given the ongoing issue we have with reliable estimates of costs of materials and labor, we went for the full 30% contingency. So, should the application to CHIF be successful, it would bring in an additional $10,579,848, in addition to the Municipal Capital Growth Program grant we've already received for this same project. That's $2,252,902. So the way in which this is structured, though, because it is for the same project from the province, that amount that the province has already awarded us becomes part of the province's 33.33% through CHIF, and similarly, it would be part of our 26.67% as part of that overall formula. So what this boils down to is that there's a potential to get 10 million plus new funding,
Well, yeah.
and the municipality's sort of new net commitment to this, should it be successful, would be at $2,414,347,000, which we would bring as a budget item should the application be successful.
Tom?
I move the option one, where you adopt the resolution as drafted when the submission is completed by the municipality application to the Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund.
Second.
Discussion? Sorry, Tina.
Certainly, thank you. It's not really part of the motion, but I guess we're so quick on motions. Is this part of the 10-year agreement that was announced in February, but wasn't able to be made public until the federal election took place?
Yes,
and-
part of that overall.
So, yeah, so the 170 million, well, let me look here. It's, Nova Scotia gets 170 million over 10 years, and then this is the 6 million federal fund is aimed at accelerating by providing the infrastructure, drinking water, wastewater,
Yep.
storm, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's part of all
Yeah.
this? Excellent, very good.
Yep.
Yeah. So things are happening, not just in Chester about this, so yes.
Things are happening. Well, and we have
Yes.
a good, we have a good relationship with our external funders, so this is.
Excellent.
We
Very
we
good.
take advantage of those opportunities when they arise.
All right, any further questions on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion's carried. Thank you. Good luck. Well, they told us that, so that helps. Okay, I think I'm on to the part of the agenda where you're gonna talk about a future discussion about deer and recognizing some community members, and then I believe I'm finished, or we're finished.
Okay, quick, thank you, Warden Weber, through you to council. I'm getting a lot of comments and emails and all kinds of thoughts on the deer that are populating the village of Chester. I know it's a very contentious topic before many that enjoy the deer and others that don't enjoy the deer. If you're a gardener, you don't like it, and if you're not a gardener, you're okay with it. It seems to be the biggest thing. Here's where we're at. The village has become populated with a lot of deer. I would love to have a future discussion on thoughts, what might be an option for maybe us to consider, or what I could direct to people, and for constituents to let us know what they think of some options they may know. I don't know. We're all people that have to kind of work together. I know the animals are coming in because other animals are chasing them this way, and then humans are feeding them, and they're building a community home here that they're become resilient to this style of life. So I'd ask for a future discussion.
Okay, we'll have a talk, we'll have a chat about it at some point.
Thank you. The second topic I have, some of you may be aware, and I just want to bring it up. We have, first of all, I want to recognize all the volunteers in our municipality that do many, many things and wonderful things. In the village of Chester, we have 2 residents, in my opinion, that have been, one has been recognized provincially, and one I think we have to recognize municipality-wise. First of all is Rufus Sweet. Rufus Sweet is the owner of our local Napa store, but he's contributed over 50 years of teaching hockey, particularly to girls, and he was recognized with a provincial award in the last while that I am very proud to say he is a community member, a resident. He gives tremendous in his company and his organization, and I want to recognize Rufus for his wonderful work. He told me yesterday, I went out and shook his hand, and he said, I retired after 50 years, and then a week later I went back, and I'm going to go back at some more. So he's committed to youth, he's committed to provincial growth and community growth. He's just, people like that we really have to recognize in our municipality. So again, congratulations, Rufus, and I thought it was well worth bringing forward. Second one I want to note is a longtime volunteer that many of us know is Barry Redmond. Barry has done so much in and around our communities. He was a company owner, he had employees, he did a lot. Barry has just given continuously, and Barry's heart is in the communities and our municipality, and I want to recognize Barry. Recently, he spent endless hours at the Zoe Valley Library, free with many of his colleagues and the Christina, the operator of the library, and they've just done tremendous work there. I encourage anyone to stop by the Zoe Valley Library. It's open now Tuesdays to Saturdays. I think it's 10 to 5 or something like that. Check the hours. But again, Barry, thank you for what you've done over the years and decades that you've been in Chester and doing the things that have helped many people from many areas of our municipality. Well done, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. They're both good, very good people. That's the end of the agenda, people. I'm open for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded by everybody?